guys, what is up? It is Braden here from the WoW Classic channel. And today guys, we're going to be talking about consumables in Classic WoW and what you need to know to be prepared for raiding, PvP, etc. in Classic WoW. So I didn't know that there was so many world buffs, consumables, etc. in WoW Classic. And I kind of doubt you did either, so let's just kind of go over them all and just sort of check it out. So this, by the way, this article, I'll have the link in the description. Comprehensive Classic WoW Consumable List by the Krug Life. Pretty in-depth guide, I'm not gonna lie. I already read through it, and yeah, there's a lot of info here that's pretty important. So let's first talk about world buffs. So world buffs are basically buffs you can get for, I believe, 2 hours. That basically you get from doing big events in the world. All right, so each faction has different ones, etc. But so this one is if a raid clears a Nefarian or Onyxia and brings its head back to the faction capital, the entire city will be given this powerful buff. So as you can see here, increases critical strike by 10%, melee and range by 5%, and grants 140 attack power for 2 hours. So, yep, there is your rating. Well, this is going to be more for probably after Onyxia, but I mean, like, if we're doing Nax or AQ40, in phase 3 or 4 or 5, we've already cleared Onyxia in phase 1, so we're going to be, we're going to have these to use. Spirit of Zandalar. This is for Zul'Gurub in phase 4, so you're not going to have this on launch. Spirit of Zandalar increases movement speed by 10% and all stats by 15% for 2 hours. And all you have to do is turn this in when you defeat Hakar. So that's going to be phase 4. So I think we will have this for AQ40 and Nax. Warchief's Blessing. This one's just for the Horde. Basically, if you kill Ren Blackhand and bring his head to Thrall, everybody in Orgrimmar gets this buff. Increases hit points by 300, 15% haste to melee attacks, 10 mana regen every 5 seconds. So that's another advantage of playing the Horde. Also, I believe the Horde probably has better racial abilities also. So Horde is probably the best faction if you're actually going off of, like, statistically or, like, in reality, the buffs they get and stuff. But come on, man, I'm still playing Alliance, let's be real here. The Darkmoon Fair, this event only comes out, I'm not sure exactly when it comes out. Also, I don't believe the Darkmoon Fair will be there at launch. I believe it's in phase either 2 or 3, I think. And basically, when it is in town, it's going to be scheduled, by the way. I think it's once a month or once every couple months. Basically, you can talk to this NPC, and depending on what answer you give him in the dialogue, you will get the corresponding buff. So 1 to 10% increased damage, 10% agility, 10% intellect, spirit, stamina, all depending on how long or what answers you give him. I don't see how long these buffs last for, but I'm assuming 2 hours. So yeah. Dire Mode tribute buffs. So basically what this is if you run through the instance and you didn't kill some NPCs while you were doing the run, you can double back through the instance and basically talk to these 3, Moldar, Fengus, and Slipkick, and basically they will each give you a buff. Now, these buffs can all be used at the same time. 15% stamina, 3% spell critical strike chance, 200 attack power. So yeah, just more buffs just to get easily. Felwood. Basically, there's plants in Felwood. If you cleanse them, then you get a buff. Increases chance for a melee ranged or spell critical by 5% and all attributes by 15 for 1 hour. So this one's only 1 hour. But it is probably one of the more easier ones compared to like having to do an entire raid. The Silithus PvP buff, this is phase 5. This is the Anchorage War effort and right before AQ40 comes out. And basically, if you bring the geyser to your faction's camp, you get the buff, 5% damage. So yeah, basically just more easy buffs, especially for world PvP. This one's probably going to be needed if you're on like a PvP server and the factions are fighting at the gates during the war effort or something, or they're trying to grind for the uh, Scarab Lord title or whatever. You're probably going to want this buff. Blackrock Spider buff, 83 fire resistance, pretty easy. Mind Control, a Scar Shield Spellbinder to buff party members. Wow. That's actually kind of funny. I wonder if that was actually intentional by Blizzard. Blessing of Black Fathom, 5 Intellect, 5 Spirit, 15 Frost damage increase. Just gotta click on an orb. So, yeah. I mean, like, obviously some of these you probably not going to do. Like, are you really going to Mind Control for a fire resistance buff? Maybe. If you're, what's it called? If you really can't do, if you're, like, really struggling in Molten Core, maybe. But I feel like a lot of people nowadays, especially with the strats that are going to be coming out and stuff, I don't think we're really going to need to do this kind of stuff. But maybe initially just to blow through content, we could see stuff like this happening, world firsts and stuff. Blessing of Black Fathom, alright, we did that one. Headmaster's Charge buff, 20 Intellect Party Aura. All you gotta do is get this Headmaster's Charge Staff, and yeah, you get it all. And you get it from Darkmaster Gandling in Scholomance. So this is actually a staff you can just hold on to and just use. So that's actually really nice. I mean, if somebody in your group has this, they can just use it, at the beginning of the raid or whatever. Just really, easy, nice to have. There's actually a bunch of items like this that have a use that's actually really useful. I know there's some that like summon mobs to fight for you and stuff too. And obviously, like, breaking stuns, breaking polymorphs, etc. There's items that do that too that you might want to get. So let's move on to consumables. So you can only have one flask buff at any given time. And yeah, so these are the 3 bosses that you have to kill to get these recipes. Blackrock Spire, Scholomance, and Stratholme. So 1200 health, Flask of the Titans. That one is going to be pretty good for tanks. 2000 mana, could be good for healers or maybe some DPS. This one's probably more DPS though. Increases damage done by magical spells and effects by 150 for 2 hours. Chromatic resistance, all schools of magic, increase resistance by 25 for 2 hours. And this one is basically a ice block for everybody except turns them into stone, protecting you of all physical attacks spells for 1 minute. This one could be pretty good in a lot of situations, actually. So I'm not really sure if this is good for a specific raid, but it could definitely have use in PvP and maybe some other events that I'm not aware of. Then you have these Zanza buffs. So basically this Rin Wosho the Trader will basically give you these consumables if you give him these Zandalar honor tokens, which I believe you can get from just doing quests. And yeah, Spirit of Zanza, 50 Spirit, 50 Stamina, reflects the next hostile spell, 3% chance to reflect future hostile spells, 20% movement speed increase. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure if this stacks with other movement speed increases. Probably not, but if it does, that could be overpowered for like Warsong Gulch or something. Blasted Lands buffs. So basically, these are repeatable quests you can do in Blasted Lands. And 25 agility, 25 intellect, 25 spirit, and 25 stamina. And these are repeatable, so you can just sort of stockpile this shit up and use it whenever you want. Here's some elixirs. So the elixirs are different from the flasks. 25 agility, 2% critical strike increase. That's pretty good. Mana regen. Elixir fortitude increases health. Armor, 450 armor. 20 health per 5 seconds. 10 shadow resistance, enchants to debuff attackers. Strength buff here. So as you can see here, there is a lot of potions also. And I do believe alchemy is going to be very in demand once people really start getting into raiding, just from all of this shit. There's so many. Just so many potions that are going to be needed. Okay, so now we're going to move on to these Winter Spring Jujus. So, they don't stack, don't share, cooldown. Luckily, there aren't any situations in a raid where you need to fire and frost resistance at the same time. Oh man, that would be AIDS. So yeah, these are repeatable also. So again, if you're struggling with Molten Core or struggling with Nax, maybe these are for your guild. Ungoro Crater Crystal buffs. So again, more repeatable quests. Increases your armor by 200, 12% or 12 damage reflect on hit. Boggling Roots. Increases physical damage by 1 for 10 minutes. Yeah, okay. Greater Protection Potions. All of this shit. All of these are alchemy. Let's go and get into these food buffs. Grilled Squid, 10 agility, 20 strength, 8 mana per 5 seconds, 10 intellect, 25 stamina, 10 spirit, 10 strength. Most of these are made, the top 5 here are made from cooking. So all the strong ones are cooking. So cooking also will be in demand for raiding, obviously. So if you guys are looking for stuff to make money in Classic when it comes out, you just gotta find out what people need and just make it. All right, like how many people are gonna be making grilled squid on launch? I don't know. But if not a lot of people are doing it, then you can do it and make some easy money. Then we have here requires revert with the Argent Dawn for these two, but these ones are probably going to be used less so, as you can get 20 strength from these Smoked Desert Dumplings, so this one's pretty much irrelevant. The 10 Spirit I don't think is probably going to be used that much either. We have some alcohol buffs. I remember using the Rumsey Rum Black Label on my old Twink. Then we have Gordok Green Grog, which is sold by Stomper Keeg after you become king in Dire Mole North. Same one for this one. 25 spirit, minus 5 intellect, 10 stamina. So this one, Rumsey Rum Black Label is just going to be better than this one. It's pretty sure it's easier to get to. The 25 spirit, minus 5 intellect might be good, but I'm not entirely sure, honestly, on that one, because I'm pretty sure most classes that want spirit want intellect also, so I don't know if it's worth it. Let's move on to weapon buffs. So you can have one weapon buff per weapon you have equipped. These items do not stack with things like poisons or Wind Fury Totem. So these are crafted by enchanters and blacksmiths here. So these first two are enchanters. When applied to target weapon, it restores 12 mana to the caster every 5 seconds and increases the effective healing spells up to 25. While applied to target weapon, it increases spell damage by up to 36 and increases spell critical chance by 1%. These ones might be good. It says they do not stack with things like poisons or Wind Fury, but I believe these do still stack with normal enchants on your weapons. So yeah, that could be useful. Dense Sharpening Stone, obviously in the Elemental Sharpening Stone, these are going to be for your melee classes. Increases weapon damage by 8, increases critical strike by 2%. Battle Potions. So these are actually kind of a cool idea. I actually like these, but I think they're going to be pretty broken. Especially like this one, Free Action Potion. Makes you immune to stun and movement impairing effects for the next 30 seconds. Does not remove effects already on the Imbiter. So yeah, that is really good for PvP, like insanely good for PvP. This one is pretty good too, actually, for PvP. It removes one magic, curse, or poison or disease effect on you every 5 seconds for 30 seconds. So if you're carrying the flag in Warsong Gulch and you pop one of these things and one of these things, well, that's gonna fucking help a lot. Limited invulnerability potion. Imbiter is immune to physical attacks for the next 6 seconds. I mean, this is just kind of retardedly broken almost. I mean, it's only 6 seconds. It's not that broken, but I mean, like, it's just, I don't know. I feel like in Classic, people are going to be a lot more aware of all this stuff. Like, back in the day, like, nobody had the gold to, like, go out and actually farm, or you know, the time or the gold to actually go out and get all this shit and use it in, you know, PvP or raids and stuff. But I think this time around, people are going to be so just focused on min-maxing everything that this is going to be pretty good. This one, these are just the normal mana and health potions, obviously, but yeah, still good. Secondary potions. So, Dark Rune restores 900 to 1500 mana at the cost of 600 to 1000 life. Same thing for that. This was another one I was talking about. So this is another item that generates a consumable. So if you get this Lay of Lilies, you can use it and conjure a lily root that restores health and mana when eaten. 525 to 675 mana and health. So small stuff like this, if you have this in combat, in PvP situations, I mean, if you have a 600 health advantage on, you know, somebody else in PvP, if you guys are the same class or whatever, and you guys are similarly geared, I mean, this stuff's going to give you the advantage to win. So this stuff is really, really important. I mean, obviously this stuff's a little bit less, but I mean, a lot of this stuff, I mean, if you have this stuff, you're gonna, all these consumables and world buffs and enchants and everything. If you guys have this stuff, you're just gonna be just destroying everybody, really. And yeah, it's gonna be expensive, obviously, but you know. So here's some more, just restores some stuff. First aid is actually something I think we're gonna see a lot more of than we even did in like the old vanilla PvP videos. Even in Classic already, we're seeing tons of stuff like polymorph, you know, bandage up, you know, uh, other like stuns and stuff, you know, and then bandaging or mind control, bandage, you know, whatever. There's just a ton of different things that are going on with first aid. Poison removal. Obviously, this is going to be good against rogues. Or, you know, I actually think hunters might have a poison effect that can stick to you too. Explosives, oh god, this stuff's getting pretty AIDS. I actually am kind of concerned about the engineering stuff here, and I'll explain why. So this one just deals damage to undead enemies. I think that works for undead players too. Inflicts fire damage to targets. Okay, so basically just damage. So, yeah. Cool. Engineering trinkets creates a chicken to fight for you, creates a dragonling to fight for you. You can use the trinket and then swap it back to your main trinket. So these, if you, like, people are gonna have macros to use this shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be no negative effect really. If you just have a macro to equip, use, and then equip your original trinket. I mean, there's no time loss here really. It's just extra damage you're doing for pretty much, you know, no effort at all besides engineering. Engineering explosives. This is what I am kind of scared about. So if you guys have been watching the Classic beta streams, people have been using those iron grenades to basically fuck people up in like duels and world PvP, etc. And yeah, these are pretty good. So 300 to 500 damage and stuns the target for 3 seconds. Yeah, that's pretty good. These were used for more like suicides because they do damage to you and basically you and everyone around you. So that one's kind of cool. The arcane bomb. I mean, yeah, mana burns and silences enemies. Oh god. Like this stuff's gonna be so broken, I feel like. You know, once PvP really starts taking off and people are really min-maxing everything and they're, you know, stocked up on, you know, they have 40 thorium grenades in their backpack, and they're tossing them and they're just min-maxing everything. I think these are going to be really broken. Cosmetic potions don't matter. These are more items that if you can just get them, keep them in your backpack. Just have macros to use these to summon shit to help you out. These summon skeletons to help you fight. This stuff I don't think is going to be used that much because these can't be reused. But yeah, just extra stuff that you can summon to help you fight. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. I know this video's kind of shit, but I just kind of wanted to run this through with you guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys leave a like, comment, subscribe, and check out the Instagram in the description, and the link to this article is also in the description. So yeah, boys, I'll see you guys all next time.